And we are now live, Chairman.
Thank you, Christine. I want to welcome you all to the Committee of Adjustment for the Township of Clearview on March 8th at 7:03 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and I'll start off with an Indigenous land acknowledgement. I would like to begin our meeting by recognizing the First Nation, Métis, and Inuit peoples of Canada as traditional stewards and caretakers of the land. We acknowledge that Clearview Township is located within the boundaries of Treaty 18, the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, Teonatani, and Wendat, and is the home of many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples as part of an intricate nationhood that reaches across Turtle Island. At this time of truth and reconciliation, we welcome the opportunity to work together towards new understandings and new relationships and ask for guidance in all we do. Do any of the committee members have an interest arising out of the minutes of the last meeting or listed on this agenda? Seeing none. Do any committee members have any comments or a motion with regard to the minutes from last month? Seeing none.
Could we have a motion to approve the minutes?
That was the next one on my list. Can I get a motion to approve last month's minutes? Unanimous across the board, carried. The Committee of Adjustment today will consider file 23-Bravo-01 and 23-Bravo-02. The Planning Act requires that the public hearing be held before the Committee of Adjustment decides whether or not to pass a consent or a minor variance. The public hearing serves two purposes. First, to present to the Committee of Adjustment and to the public the details and background of the application, and second, to receive comments from the public and agencies before a decision is made. For the one application this evening, I will get Christine, our Secretary Treasurer, to summarize the proposal with all the correspondence on file. Over to you, Christine.
Thank you, Chairman. Notice of these applications was posted on the subject properties on or before February 21st, 2023, being at least 14 days prior to the hearing. Notice for these applications was also sent by mail to the assessed owners within 60 meters of the subject properties. Notice was also circulated for the applications to those persons, departments, and agencies likely to have an interest in the applications as legislated. Included with each notice was a legal description of the subject property and a description of the purpose of the proposed consent. The circulations were provided in accordance with the provisions of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, Chapter P13. The subject application concerns lands municipally known as 3399 County Road 42, formerly Nottawasaga, and legally described as Concession 2, South Part Lot 5. The purpose and effect of the applications is to sever two residential lots. Proposed severed lot 1, 30 meters of frontage, overall 0.21 hectares, 0.5 acres of vacant land. Proposed severed lot 2, 30 meters of frontage, overall 0.21 hectares, 0.5 acres vacant land. And retained lot 101.08 meters of frontage, overall 21.131 hectares, 52 acres with dwelling and barn. Comments were received from Bell Canada, Hydro One, and the chief building official having no objection or concern to the application. And we also received comments from the County of Simcoe that I'm going to read to you now. County planning staff note that a portion of the property, including the area proposed to be severed into two residential lots, is mapped as having archaeological potential within the county's archaeological management plan document that was endorsed by County Council on December 4th, 2019. Section 12.2.4 consent applications of the archaeological management plan identifies that where any portion of the consent application which creates two or more new lots and where development and or site alteration is proposed or expected in the archaeological potential layer should be subject to a condition requiring that an archaeological assessment be completed that recommends that no further archaeological assessment is warranted, the provincial interest in archaeological resources with respect to the proposed undertaking is addressed, and the proposed undertaking is clear of any archaeological concern prior to the municipality issuing a certificate of consent. This direction is supported by section 2.6.2 of the provincial policy statement, which states that development and site alteration shall not be permitted on lands containing archaeological resources or areas of archaeological potential unless significant archaeological resources have been conserved. The archaeological management plan document is available by using a link on the county website. County planning staff recommends consideration of a supporting archaeological assessment as a condition of approval. County planning staff understand that development site alteration is only being proposed on the 2 proposed lots. Therefore, an archaeological assessment would only be required for the lands associated with the 2 proposed residential lots per the proposed policies of the archaeological management plan. And then we have transportation comments. The County of Simcoe has no objection to the approval of the application, provided the following conditions are included. 1, that the applicant shall transfer to the Corporation of the County of Simcoe at no cost a fee simple encumbered interest in the following: a road allowance widening along the entire frontage of the severed portion of the subject property, identified as lots 1 and 2, adjacent to County Road 42, to provide an 18-meter right-of-way from the center line of County Road 42. The applicant shall submit to the satisfaction of the county's Transportation and Engineering Department a preliminary reference plan, 1 copy and 1 electronic copy, which sets out the widening to be transferred to the county. Upon approval, the county will instruct the surveyor to deposit the reference plan in the Land Registry Office for Simcoe County and request the surveyor provide the county with 1 copy and 1 electronic copy of the deposited reference plan. All costs associated with the land transfer, including costs relating to surveying, legal fees and disbursements, agreements, HST, etc., shall be fully borne by the applicant. All legal documentation is to be negotiated, prepared, and registered by the Legal Services Department at the county and to be executed where required by the applicant. The applicant shall submit to the Legal Services Department of the county a deposit in the amount of $1,200 prior to the services being rendered. Invoices will be submitted on a cost recovery basis and applied against the deposit. Additional deposits may be required, and any excess over the total invoices will be refunded. Prior to stamping of the deed by the Township of Clearview, the applicant shall obtain written clearance from the county for the above noted condition. The County of Simcoe is requesting the road widening pursuant to sections 5312 of the Planning Act, and such land will form part of the highway to the extent of the designated widening in accordance with section 31(6) of the Municipal Act 2001. The widening of County Road 42 is required pursuant to the county standards for construction and is consistent with the proper safety standards. The County of Simcoe Entrance Bylaw 5544 regulates the construction, alteration, or change in the use of any private or public entranceway, gate, or other structure or facility that permits access to the county road. Each of the proposed new parcels will be required to have an entrance permit as approved by the County of Simcoe. There shall be no entrance from the county road to the retained parcel. Access shall continue to be from the local road. The County of Simcoe Setback Bylaw number 5604 regulates the location of buildings and other structures on lands adjacent to county roads. As per the bylaw, the post and wire fence adjacent to County Road 42 is to be removed and or relocated 0.3 meters inside the new property line. Additionally, any new buildings and other structures must be located 15 meters from the requested road widening. And we have a recommendation from the Planning Department. Be it recommended that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby approves consent 23B01 pertaining to lands at 3399 County Road 42, where the severed parcel will have a lot frontage of 30 meters and a total lot area of 0.21 hectares, and retained parcel will have a frontage of 101 meters and approximately 21 hectare lot area, subject to the following conditions. 1, that the applicant meet all the requirements, financial and otherwise, of the municipality, including servicing bylaw charges and payment of the fee of $150 per lot for each certificate of consent to be issued. 2, that the applicant provides a description of the land, which may be registered under the requirements of the Registry Act or Land Titles Act as applicable for each lot created. 3, that the applicant pay a minimum of $7,073.33 per newly created lot to the municipality, or an amount equal to the 5% parkland contribution as required by the Planning Act as a requirement of the approval. Please note that the flat rate number is a minimum as it is adjusted annually in accordance with the Statistics Canada quarterly construction price statistics based on the 12-month period ending September 30th. That any mortgage on the property be discharged from any lands being severed, and that the solicitor provide an undertaking in writing that this condition will be fulfilled. That the applicant be required to obtain a hydrogeological impact study completed by a qualified engineer or hydrogeologist, providing that sufficient quality and quantity of water can be sourced on the lots, and that new wells will not adversely impact any existing neighboring well. The conclusions of the study and implementation may be done through the registration of an agreement registered on title of the lands. That the applicant be required to pay any costs associated with the peer review of this study. That the applicant apply to the Committee of Adjustment and be successful in receiving a minor variance application to recognize that the retained parcel will be smaller than the minimum lot area in the agricultural zone. 7, that the applicant provide an overall grading plan for the newly severed lands that will show the storm drainage of the lots, which is to be prepared by a qualified engineer to the satisfaction of the Public Works Department. The applicant be required to pay any costs associated with the peer review of this plan, that the approved plans be included in the development agreement. That the applicant meet all requirements of the Simcoe County Engineering Department as required in their letter. That prior to the stamping of the deeds, the applicant enter into and register on the severed lots a development agreement pursuant to section 51, 26, and 27 of the Planning Act, and pay the township the $2,000 fee for the agreement plus the cost of the township solicitor. The agreement will cover the severance applications B2301. The development agreement is intended to give guidance prior to the issuance of building permit. The following items are to be completed pursuant to the terms of the development agreement to the township satisfaction. A, individual lot grading and drainage plan for each lot to comply with the overall grading and drainage plan, which will also include verification that the underside of floor slab be entirely located a minimum of 0.4 meters above the seasonal high groundwater levels. B, results of the hydrogeological impact study. And C, finalized elevations that are consistent with the architectural control guidelines for infilling lots. And further approves consent 23B02 pertaining to lands at 3399 County Road 42, where the severed parcel will have a lot frontage of 30 meters and a total lot area of 0.21 hectares, and retained parcel will have a frontage of 101 meters and approximately 21 hectare lot area, subject to, I believe, the same conditions that I have just read for B01. So I will save my voice and know that the same conditions will apply to the second application. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you for all of that reading, Christine. Rosalind, do you have anything to add to your exceptional report that you sent us previously?
Thank you, Chairman Chuck. And I would like to put forward a bit of an amendment to my conditions, in particular relating to number 8, with regard to the County of Simcoe comments. We had previously pre-consulted with the county, and I had anticipated that there would be a letter coming regarding engineering requirements such as the road widening, and that's why when I wrote my report I included that number 8. When we received the letter from the county, I had already prepared my report and the conditions, and I wasn't aware of the archaeological assessment that is being required or is being asked to be considered. And so I would just ask that if we could include just a clarification that it's not just the County of Simcoe Engineering Department that we're looking to fulfill, it's also the County Planning Department's requirement for an archaeological study to be done on the 2 severed parcels. And that's all I have for tonight. Here to answer any questions.
All right, so if I have it right, you're adding the amendment to include the county planning department on both sites for the archaeological dig. You got that, Christine? All right, cool.
Yeah, and you could probably just add like that the county, or that an archaeological study be completed on the 2 lots, but I'll leave it to Christine to craft the wording. So
yes, so Chairman, I would just be looking for a motion from members to amend condition 8 to add that wording.
I'll move.
seconded. Gord, all in favor? Amended, carried,
Thank you.
no problem. Mr. Singh, I assume that you are the representative or owner of the said property?
I am
You-
the representative. Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Do you have anything to add to what was already presented to the committee that we have read so far and heard so far?
We obviously agreed to all the conditions. We are in the process of retaining Fulville Consulting just to do the archaeological part, but also to look into the hydrogeological for the well. But yeah, we are starting the process to get all the required consultants, and we should be able to get the minor variants finished as well within the conditional time. But nothing else to add on my part.
Excellent, good sir. Members of committee, do we have any questions for Mr. Singh? On the file at all? To anyone? Seeing none.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I just wondered, Rosalind, I was noticing from the backside of the proposed severed lots to the settlement lot line or settlement area division between the settlement and agriculture is, I don't know, maybe another 15 meters or whatever. Is there any problem in the future of that space, or I'm just kind of wondering whether the lot should be extended right to the settlement line area or not?
Yeah, so I don't believe, so again, that would be more of a question for the representative, Mr. Singh, because the township doesn't necessarily recommend or design or whatever in terms of lots, area and so on. The one thing we would consider is obviously, you know, we still would want the land if it's in active farming practice, like in an active sort of crop or something, we'd want to make sure that the farmer could still get around. But it's of no real, like that isn't a line that is actually physically seen out in the country. So it's really more, that was the preference of the applicant at the time, and they meet the zoning provisions.
Yeah,
Sure, I
okay,
can-
no, that's fine.
Yeah, I can add just a little bit of rationale why we did this. So the neighboring lot, we looked at their size and we thought we should keep the lot sizes kind of in conformity with the existing pattern on this side of the road. We did make it bigger. We thought maybe, you know, it increases our max lot coverage, then the house would obviously be bigger as well. We thought, you know, just keep it consistent with the pattern that's already there, and it shouldn't be an issue. I don't think so as well.
Okay, that's good.
Seeing no more questions, do we want to take a vote on the consent in front of us? One of you? Gord?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Having reviewed this application, it's pretty standard stuff, as Rosalind would tell you. I know it sounds like it's fairly in-depth. This is a good application. I'm comfortable putting a motion forth to accept the application. So I would put a motion forth to support the application from the applicant.
Thank you, Gord. All in favor of said motion? to
I'll
accept it?
second it.
Mark, your vote? Unanimous, carried. Mr. Singh, you have a 20-day appeal period for with which you can then go in and see Christine and Rosalind and carry on work towards the end goal. During this appeal period, no building permit will be issued or any of the work commenced until it's said and overdone with. All good, Mr. Singh?
All good with me.
Have a great evening, sir.
You too. Thank you, everyone. Christine, Rosalind, Chairman, Mark, Robert, and Gord. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Seeing no other applicants on tonight's agenda, Christine, do we have any new business to discuss?
I have nothing this evening.
All right, do we have a tentative date for the next meeting of the Committee of Adjustment of Clearview Township?
We do. We have a number of applications for our April 12th meeting.
Excellent. Do I have a motion to adjourn the public portion of said Committee of Adjustment meeting on March 8th? All in favor of said adjournment?